Hello, Casting Crowns. We're so glad to be a part of your guys' special night. This is awesome. How many years has it been that you guys have been making music together?
Scott, when did we start? We about 98, 98, 99. Daytona Beach First Baptist Church.
Well, the first time I met you, you were a youth pastor. You weren't even a Christian music star.
Nope,
you know?
we were just a youth group band.
Yeah.
And funny thing is, we still are, which is kind of funny. But we were making music there and got to record a CD.
I would imagine over the years you've heard a ton of stories how that very first record were songs like Who Am I and The Voice of Truth and If We Are the Body have impacted people and continue to impact people to this day.
We have. It's cool to hear that you've been a part of somebody's becoming or sort of at a fork in the road for people. Christian music has always been that for me. Being dyslexic, I didn't read the Bible a lot because it was a book. So music was my thing. So listening, that's why I make a big deal to students of what kind of music you listen to because it's pouring into you.
Yeah.
And man, those Christian artists, Stephen Curtis Chapman, DC Talk, The Cry, The Waiting, some of PFR, all those bands, man, they really poured down deep into me because the artists were real and they were talking about the fact that this is hard. It's hard to live this life sometimes. It's hard to follow God, but we're going to do it anyway. And it just really connected with me. And to know that we get to connect with somebody that way is really cool. I don't really look to leave some giant legacy as Casting Crowns, but to get to the end of this and know that you are there at a moment somebody needed to follow God a little deeper, that's huge for me.
Was there a story or two that really brought this to the surface? Was there something that you had experienced in youth group that really knew this was a song, a record that you had to make?
For me, it starts with Thrive, and when you're talking about the last record and how we really built our message around digging deep in the Word and reaching out to the world, we really were kind of pouring the gospel into people. And when you look at the Gospels, you see Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, this is Jesus pouring into us. And then the book of Acts is when you see this is what it looks like. And it's messy, and there's persecution, and things don't all go well. I mean, if you read the Bible, none of those guys made it out alive. So it's going to be tough. But Jesus is going to be with you. So what we wanted to do is keep moving with what Thrive started and talk about what does it mean to follow Jesus from here. So all through the record, you've got these different places that we find ourselves. We can find ourselves in failure. We can find ourselves in doubt. We can find ourselves in a storm in life, but you can follow God from there. He'll take you just with what you're dealing with now, and you can follow him. So really, we're just trying to get even more and more real with what it looks like every day to be a believer.
The Very Next Thing is the name of the new record. Why The Very Next Thing?
Because I think that's where a lot of people live. I think we understand God in theory, and when we get in church, we speak up in the clouds a lot. We're going to be all in for him. We're going to be on fire. We're going to give everything to God, and everything is so once and for all and declarative. But then you go to Monday, and you got to figure out, well, what does my left foot do now? What does my right foot do? How is my next moment going to look giving it all to God? So when you're a youth worker and you work with teenagers every week, they don't mind just asking you that. They're not just going to say amen and go home. They're going to go, okay, you got me. What do I do now? So really what we're trying to do is show that as a believer, as a follower of Jesus, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what condition you're in or where you've been, you can follow Jesus from where you are right now. A lot of times as believers, we feel like we've got to recover somehow from a mistake we've made, or we've got to prepare a little longer for some level of spirituality to where we can really serve him or get past our mistakes. That's just not where Jesus lives. He doesn't work that way. He takes you from here. Let you follow me from right here and let's do this. All these guys in the Bible that we read about, they weren't superheroes. They really were totally dependent on what God said to do next. And we're all in a different stage of next. So this record is a journey through all the different places we can find ourselves, whether it might be a storm we're going through, a failure, falling down in your life, or doubting God. In all those places, God can meet you there. And these songs are a journey through what it means to do the very next thing he says.